And if this is your first exposure, get a pad of paper out. A lot of great quizzes. Some of these we have specific subjects like on trust, market manipulation, administrator, different things as you go through the different quizzes on the channel to help you pass the test. But here's the bottom line. We're going to attempt the best we can to not ramble, stay focused. Some of the questions are going to be very good with triggers. Some may not be as great with triggers, but we're going to keep it simple and let's go. And if you want to answer the question like this, pause it before I click the answer because I'm going to click the answer and give the explanation as far as that's concerned. All right, so market order to buy will be executed at the best available price. So here's our one for your notes. Market order equals best available price. Best available price. Okay, time of execution. Buzzwords for the question. Number 2, a customer enters a limit order to buy 100 shares of ABC at 45. The order will be executed. This is just something you got to figure out and learn. At 45 or lower. And the way you're going to do that, talks about a buy limit order. A couple things you can learn too. Make a note is SLOBS, S-L, lowercase o, B-S, over B-L, lowercase I, SS. It's a way to remember a few things about buy, limit, sell, stop, and some different things. All right, so you may want to look up an image or ask for explanation, but as questions come up, this is probably one of the more sticking points that people have is this, and you just got to start knowing that. But that's a possible trigger for you. We'll see if that helps you out in doing that, all right? But we want to remember, we don't have to get 100%. We just got to get enough to get through 72, 70, right? Get to that place, pass this thing. What is the standard settlement cycle for U.S. equity? So we're going to put settlement cycle, T1. Settlement cycle, T1. All right? And getting that down. So it says here, U.S. equity settlement cycle from T2 to T1. All right, so this means buyers may have cash and sellers must have securities available one day after the trade. Now, with all that, the bottom line is in your brain, start with the concept that settlement cycle equals T1. All right, and just put that down because that's going to trigger you to get the question right. And treat T1, put T1 equals 1 business day after trade. Okay, T is the trade, the 1 is the 1 business day after. All right, and understanding that. All right, which account type allows a customer to borrow money from a broker-dealer to purchase securities? There's already a trigger word in this, and we're going to have a couple triggers on this. I would think so, okay? Margin account. So here's what I want you to write down. Number 1, margin account equals borrow money. If I see a question that says borrow money, I'm going to start thinking about a margin account. That's number 1. Number 2 is I'm going to think about regulation T. It's in, if you notice down here, it's potentially another answer. So it's set by the Federal Reserve. But let's get back to the margin, okay? So margin, borrow money. Also, I want you to put down 50%. Initial margin equals 50%. Maintenance margin 25%. And then you have a house margin, which will be higher than the maintenance. A broker sets that. But here's what I want you to get. Just clean the clutter here. Let's get the clutter out. Margin equals borrow money. Then you've got 50%, 25%, and house. All right, what's that mean? Initial margin 50, 25% is the minimum maintenance, and the house could vary, but it's going to be more than the 25. If you want to pause this and search what's the house maintenance margin or what are the 3 types of margin accounts for the SIE exam, write those down. And if you want to understand how those 2 you got right there, the house, what that house is, they set it where the industry says 25%, we gotta make this margin call. But the broker says we can't afford to go down 25%. We're setting it at 35%. We're having a little stricter rules. That's really what it is. But here's the bottom line again. For the question, margin equals borrow money. And you have initial margin, maintenance margin, house margin, regulation T. I potentially gave you 2 or 3 answers there. All right, and that's what we're trying to do. Triggers. All right. Trigger word here. Churning. As soon as you see churning, you got to be thinking excessive trades. Excessive. Churning equals excessive. The 2 correlate on a question. All right? And then high commissions. There it is. Generate commissions. So you'd put churning equals excessive trading, comma, generate commissions. Because they're trying to get you to trade. Sell your stock, sell, so I can keep getting paid. Okay? Remember, buzzwords, simple. Hopefully you got your notebook out and you're just writing down the simple triggers because we're not going to ramble here, all right? Getting that down. Which account requires an adult to manage assets on behalf of a minor? Here we go. So first thing you got to do is identify which account is what? Minor. Well, that's this. This is the old, I don't say it's old school, but it's before the Coverdell and the 529. UGMA with a G like Georgia. UTMA like a T with Texas. All right? So that's on behalf of the minor. We actually have a 15-minute video that includes the difference between the two to make it very simplistic. All right? So that's pretty much cut and dry as far as that's concerned. Okay? Now, a stop order. Here we go. Back on that. This is something you just got to figure out. And you know what? There's a saying where it says if you can't figure it out, just kind of, hey, it is what it is. I don't need to know 100%. There may be a subject, just there's sticking points. I guarantee you when I was passing all these tests, when I took them, I had some sticking points. I didn't have to know everything, but I had to be really good at a lot, okay? And that's the key, all right, in understanding that and making that happen, all right? So you just got to understand that a stop order equals a stock price fall. If you want to learn about that one, stop this and study the answer right there between sell stop and buy stop and start looking at bliss and slobs as well and understanding that. Okay, on to the next question. Remember, some of them we're just going to kind of graze over because we're focused on 90% of what can give you great triggers. Inside trading. Here we go. This is a great trigger. Inside. It's inside. No one knows. It's like, visualize this. You're inside your house. You don't know. No one can see me. They can't see me unless I step outside my what? House. So inside trading equals non-public information. Okay? It's illegal. First of all, write this down. Inside trading equals illegal, comma, non-public information. It means I know something. Think about it. I know something that you don't. I know a company's going to do this, so I'm putting 10 grand in because I know it's going to fly in 3 days. I got to wait till it hits the public, and then I can put the 10 grand in the minute it hits public. All right? So get those buzzwords down. Keep it simple. Non-public, illegal, and again, read anything else you want to read there. All right? Number 9, under FINRA rules, a broker-dealer must maintain customer complaints for a minimum of how many years? You just got to know this one. All right? You just got to know this one. 4 years. Not much triggers there. You just know the deal. All right? Discretionary brokerage account is one in which, okay, some buzzwords here. Discretionary. I want you to write down discretionary equals 10,000. Custody equals 35,000. If you want to know what those two are, search it. All right, it'll come up. Say, what is $10,000 in relation to discretionary? What is 35,000 in relation to custody? Because it'll probably come up at some other point. All right, but let's get back to this. Discretionary equals written authorization, comma, trade without customer approval. Trade without customer approval. Okay, trade without customer approval. 3 things you will want to know. Whoop, let me hit the answer. All right, I'm already telling you the answer without even hitting it. All right, 3 things you'll want to know. Action, asset, and amount. Those are the 3 discretionary things that are related to it, okay? Those are the 3 things. We're not going to get into it here. You have a different video covers that. But again, I'm giving you triggers that potentially could come up. But what I want you to know is discretionary equals written authorization. All right, and customer trade without customer approval. Once I got the written authorization. They try to trick you with the oral. That's the key. Make a note. They tried tricks with oral. Okay? What does the acronym KYC stand for in the context of customer accounts? Well, if you think about it, customer accounts, you would think it would be customer. So know your customer. All right? That means know what they want, their objectives, suitability. That's kind of common sense. KYC your customer. All right? It's not going to be about compliance. It's about your customer. Why we know it? Because it says in context of customer accounts. It gives you right there. All right? So that's kind of cut and dry. What is the purpose of a good faith deposit in connection with new security offerings? Think about this. It says good faith deposit with new securities. New securities are what? Being issued. New securities are what? 1933, because it's the Paper Act. See, we're going to give you more answers, remember? If you've done other things on this channel, you know 1933 is Paper Act. 1934 is what? People Act. Write it down. It's coming up. I gave you some bonus. All right, triggers. Good faith deposit. Good faith deposit is required from underwriting when submit a bid in competitive underwriting. Okay? Says right there, good faith equals good faith. Kind of common sense, right? Which of the following activities is specifically prohibited by FINRA rules regarding communication with customers? Regarding communication with customers. No. This is a no. Prohibited or guaranteeing equals prohibited. Prohibited equals guaranteeing. Bad rule, bad word. Another bad rule, a bad word, approval. FINRA administrator doesn't approve a thing. They process stuff, right? They get people registered. Get that in your head. I just gave you some questions right there. Guaranteed and approval are no-nos. Okay? In doing that. Next one. Customer account at Civic member firm fails. SIPC protects customer securities for up to $500,000 per account, $250,000 of cash. Now, the one thing you've got to understand, here it is, I was looking good, this is right here, does not protect against market losses. Okay? It does not protect against market losses. It's more for insolvency, legal stuff that they did. All right? It's against the law. Now, FDIC is for banks. So get this in your head. FDIC equals banks. SIPC equals investments. Okay? Get that in your head. Some great buzzwords there for that question. Potentially coming up. Anti-money laundering. That doesn't sound too good. Anti-money laundering. There it is again. Okay? Guaranteeing. That's a no-no. You can't be guaranteeing anything. All right? It's prohibited right here. Guaranteeing investments. Prohibited. What's the other word? Talk to me. That's right. Approval. Okay? Approval and guarantee. No-nos. 2 or 3 questions on the test. Bam. Remember, we're not trying to read 85 million pages in a book. We're trying to mix and match these quizzes and certain subjects. Like if you want to learn about market manipulation, 15 minutes. Trust, 15 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. One after another. It's what we're doing. What is a wash sale? That is a what? Market manipulation. That's on the market manipulation video. All right, so a wash sale. The key things to look for here. 30 days is a trigger. All right. Selling and repurchasing is a trigger. So with wash sales, you're going to write equals selling and repurchasing. Selling and repurchasing. But the key is selling and repurchasing quickly. Within 30 days. Okay? Within 30 days. So you can read through that. It disallows it. All right? So that's great triggers right there. And again, market manipulation, we'll get into the other ones. All right, and wash order has to do with one investor. I'll give you a bonus one. Matched order has to do with almost the same thing as wash trades, but it's 2 people. You'll see that in that video. If you were to search market manipulation, which applies, believe it or not, to the 663 SIE. SIE went in round when I passed the test. 65. It's on all of them. All right, they all bleed together. Short selling involves borrowing and selling a security you do not own, hoping to repurchase at a lower price. Again, this is one that when you get the, I talk about the options chart, really helps you out on this, and the options. And on one of the videos, I got a red PowerPoint, and I got one that's similar to that. I copied it on another video we did on the back end of it. You'll see it. Powerful, slam dunk, 80% plus on options after you master that chart. Okay? And understanding that. It says it's a bear strategy. That gets into that chart. And we go from there. You can read it. All right? As far as that's concerned. A registered representative executes trades in a customer's account without the customer's prior authorization and without discretionary authority. Think about that. Without customers' prior authorization, without discretionary authority, it's got to be unauthorized, right? Kind of common sense. All right, so we're trying to set you up for some common sense. Look here, look, this is ironic, all right? I mean, it's not ironic. I knew it was coming. There it is, market manipulation. What's it say? Say it out loud, front running. What's this say? Say it out loud, painting the tape, market manipulation. Painting the tape is same as matched order, okay? So when you go through the market manipulation video, which I encourage you to do, I just go boom, 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 straight through it, no ramble, wash trade, boom, matched order, boom, front running, boom, okay? Just slam dunk me. You'll nail that like crazy. All right, but we got a couple answers here, so let's figure this out. First of all, without customer authorization, without discretionary, sounds like unauthorized. All right, that's number one. You've got to watch. This is the beauty of what we're doing. This is what we're all about here. You've got 4 answers in this question. Churning. What do we say? What's the buzzwords? Pause it, look at your notes if you have to. Churning equals what? Excessive trading. Excessive trading. To do what? Earn extra commissions. Front running. What is it? That's right here. Trade ahead of the customer's order. Okay? Now, that'll go to your market manipulation video, which is going to give you 4 more questions. All right, to nail this test. Boom, knock it out. I get fired up for you, okay? So front running, think about this. I'll give you a quick story. Let's say I got a customer that's going to put 400 grand in a stock. I said, man, they're going to put 400 grand in tomorrow morning. I'm putting in 20,000 tonight. Right? Can't do that because you do that all the time. You'll get bumps. You're in the industry. You can do that. No, you'll get quick bumps, right? So understand front running is trading ahead of your customer. Painting tape is creating false volume through matched trading. Again, manipulation, a video will take care of that. But to slow down for a second, you got the unauthorized trading in this question. You've got the churning in this question. You got the definition of front running in this question. And you got the definition of painting the tape, aka same as matched orders. Bam. 4 more questions. That's what we're doing here. Okay? So that's why I said some questions are going to be more impactful than others. Under FINRA's suitability rule, a recommendation is suitable if it is consistent with a customer's, this kind of makes sense here. A recommendation. Suitable with the customer's what? Their profile, their situation, their risk tolerance, what their goals are. Isn't that why we're in business? Right? Is that why we're in business? 100%. So it's kind of common sense when you talk about the customer. Suitability. Bottom line is, what are we trying to do? Mr. and Mrs. Clyde, what do you want? We know that. It's common sense. If they're purchasing a car, what are you looking for? You got a particular color? You want GPS? What do you want? It's the exact same thing, but in this business, we call it suitability. In this business, we call it recommendations, investment profile. Okay, and understanding that, getting it down. What is Regulation T? Guess what? Bingo, we did it earlier. We gave you a bonus question earlier on the margin question, right? We talked about Regulation T. We didn't get in detail, but we said you got to know what it is, right? So what's Regulation T? We talked about the Federal Reserve sets the initial margin. Now, recap. The margin's what? Or 3 of them. What are they? The initial margin, what's the percentage? 50. What's the second one? Maintenance margin. What's the percentage? 25. Third one's a house margin. What is that? Varies, but it's more than what? 25. I gave you the explanation earlier. If you don't have it, you can go back or just pause and research. I mean, you've got an extra 5 to 7 questions from what we're covered here so far. Okay? And then you can pause it, read it again. It will reiterate what I just told you. Okay? What you're looking for. Remember, Regulation T, Federal Reserve Board go together. Okay? A customer complaint. Allegedly, forgery, theft, conversion of funds at a broker-dealer must be reported to FINRA within. I mean, it's kind of common sense if you look at this. What, you going to wait 2 months? No, immediately. 24 hours or promptly. By the way, promptly, for whatever reason, is a very popular word. Now, legally, they got to put a time of 30 calendar days, but the goal is going to be like as quick as possible. That's the bottom line. That's what you're looking for, okay, in that. Understanding that. A few more questions. All right, which of the following is an example of front running? Here we go. See how we're pulling it all together, double dipping, getting it down? What did we talk about? Okay, what did we say? Keyword in front running. Own account, ahead. It's another keyword. Own account, ahead of a large customer. You're doing it in front of them beforehand. Okay? Getting that down. No, there it is. It says it's a form of what? Market manipulation. Video. I gave you 4 of them. There's a video with about 8 of them. You'll slam dunk, be excited. I got it over. Boom, boom, boom. I got it done. All right? And I know my market manipulations. A joint tenancy with rights of survivorship account means. What do you think? Once the owner passes away, the account directly goes to survivor. This kind of gives it away. Rights of survivorship. Now, I want you to make a note. You got to know the other types. Okay? Tenancy in common. And the other ones, there's a video on that. All right? There's a video on all those. It's awesome. You just go through it in 15 minutes. You're like bam, bam, bam. And you're going right through it, okay? So there you go. Here's the other one. Tenants in common. Another answer. 2 answers in one. Bonus. Right here. Tenants in what? Common. On another video, we talk about it's E. So T-I-C-E. Tice. I'm a big, what? Sports fan. Mike Tice. Long time ago. Okay, because I studied things years ago. Everything else was a tight end. I don't know why it works for me. It may not work for you. But Tice, mice, is kind of how I remembered it. Because the E was for estates. I'm telling you, I'd gotten a now the SIE wasn't around. I took my test eons ago. But on the 65, it asked the question. I remember Tice estate. I remember that. Just the way I remembered it. You don't have to, but there's a trigger. Tice. Okay? Understanding it. Under the USA Patriot Act, a broker-dealer required to file CTR for cash accounts exceeding. This is just a memorization deal. Okay? Just got to memorize. 10,000. Not much there other than the memorization, right? Understand that. What is free riding in a cash account? Free riding in a cash account. Buying and selling a security in a cash account before paying for the initial purchase. Kind of makes sense. I'm going to take a free ride, man. Okay? So it violates Regulation T. I'm not going to get too much into it. All right? But we're just going to focus on, it talks about buying and selling before paying. So free ride, I'm not paying. I'm free ride, man. I'm not paying. I'm not. Okay? Now, that's it. Hopefully, you took advantage of the other bonus questions. You got 1 page with a bunch of gutted information, not 18 pages in a book. This is like 30 pages in a book if you read the whole subjects at least. All right? I gave you 1 page, maybe a page and a half. You gutted it. You got it down, and you say it over and over again. All right? And you just say this equals that. This equals that. And you go through these questions. And then what happens is you go from here. Now you say, okay, now I'm going to go through the market manipulations. Let me see if I can bury that. Then you come over here and say, let me go through the trust. A couple of them came up. Let me bury that. And now, boom, you're nailing not only extra questions, but now you're nailing extra subjects. And you got yourself rocking and rolling and moving to the next level. All right, keep it going. Let's get this thing done.